Welcome again to Deep Dive on your channel, Book Echoes. Today we are diving deep into a subject that, well, it causes tension in pretty much every home around the globe.
Oh, definitely.
The big one, the generational conflict over screen time, smartphones, video games. We're actually looking at material shared by a listener who just wanted to get past all the yelling.
Right. And understand the science. Why do parents worry so much?
Exact.
And to guide us, we're using the work of Dr. Dean Burnett. He's in a really unique position to talk about this.
How so?
Well, he's not just a cognitive neuroscientist, he's also a father. So his book, Why Your Parents Are Worried About Your Phone, it really tries to cut through all that moral panic. It uses hard science to figure out the actual psychological and physical risks.
That dual perspective is everything, isn't it? The clinical and the parental.
It is. He's done work before helping teens understand their own brains, and now he's just focusing that knowledge right on this fight over electronics.
So our mission today is to unpack his arguments. The neurological reasons, what's genuinely dangerous about screens, and maybe more surprisingly, why older generations are almost neurologically wired to resist new technology.
Yeah, we're moving beyond our childhood was better.
Thank goodness.
We're getting into the mechanics of the brain. So this deep dive should offer some, real insights for everyone involved, parents and the younger generation.
Before we begin, don't forget to subscribe to the channel, press the like button, and activate the notification bell to receive all new content. Your support encourages us to continue. Okay, so let's jump right into the thick of it. The common parental complaints. If you're listening, Dr. Burnett suggests something he calls the six-finger challenge.
I like this one.
Yeah, hold up 6 fingers and just drop one every time you've heard one of these from a parent or a guardian.
Okay, so here are the big ones. 1, screens will damage your physical health.
Classic.
2, you'll get addicted. 3, our childhood was better without all this.
I think half the hands just went down.
Pretty much. 4, don't use it before bed. 5, you're becoming isolated. And 6, that's a total waste of time.
I think most people are out of fingers by now. But here's where it gets really interesting. This is the crucial takeaway from Dr. Burnett.
Yeah.
And it kind of upends the whole argument. As a neurologist, he says the screen itself, the actual phone, the console, the TV, is not the main hazard.
This is such a vital distinction to make. This anxiety, it's not new. It just changes its shape.
Right.
He talks about his own childhood in the 1980s, the panic around watching TV.
Boy, remember this?
The common wisdom was if you sat too close or watched for too long, your eyes would literally turn square.
Of course. And it was just accepted as fact.
Total fact. But these fears are almost always based on, assumptions and cultural panic, not actual science.
So the device is innocent, but the content is guilty. Is that it? Because parents watch TV, they use computers, they don't mind all screens.
Exactly. Their objection is highly selective. They object to the content their kids consume. The nonstop, rapid-fire stuff.
Yeah.
Games, fast-scrolling social media, endless videos.
But if it's a documentary?
If the screen is showing a documentary or, helping with homework, the argument just melts away. The danger isn't in the glass and metal, it's in how the content interacts with the developing brain.
Okay, so let's zoom in on that content.
Yeah.
Dr. Burnett identifies 2 major mental hazards. What's the first?
The first is the sheer volume of stress and anxiety that these platforms expose us to.
What do you mean?
Well, think about many popular games, especially competitive ones like Fortnite. Or social media platforms like X. They are literally designed to keep you at a high level of tension.
Right. There's always drama, arguments, the fear of missing out.
Constant drama. And we hear all the time that society is already stressed. This just piles right on top.
It's adding fuel to a fire that's already burning.
Exactly. Dr. Burnett asks this really pointed question. He says, are we living in a time when we are running low on stress?
The answer is obviously no.
A very clear no. We're overloaded. Financial stress, academic pressure, social pressure. Adding this high-octane digital stress just makes everything worse. But there's a darker side to it, too.
Which is?
Trauma.
Okay, can you explain the difference there between just general stress and what you're calling actual psychological trauma from a screen?
Absolutely. The source material points out that these devices expose users to experiences you should never have to face in a lifetime.
Like what?
You might be scrolling and suddenly see gruesome violence, extreme dangerous challenges, or real-life traumatic events like a huge accident or an animal attack.
Things you would almost certainly never see in your actual life.
The chances are incredibly remote statistically, and yet we're exposing ourselves to it
Daily.
daily. And that's the danger. The brain reacts to that input as if it's happening right there in your immediate environment. And that constant, vivid exposure to the abnormal can cause genuine psychological trauma. The brain struggles to process it, to square it with the reality that you're actually safe. It can damage our ability to regulate emotion.
So that leads us right into the second mental hazard he talks about, which is mental strain, or what he calls cognitive overload.
Yes.
Can you walk us through his analogy for this? The one about the brain as a processor.
It's one of the best explanations I've ever heard. Okay, so the brain is a processor. Think about reading a book.
Okay.
It's a slower process, right? It's sequential. Your brain has time to create images, arrange the detailed, and file everything away neatly. It's like a patient cashier handing you items one by one for you to bag.
Orderly. Efficient.
Very. Now, what about the high-speed input from gaming or scrolling?
That's where the processor gets overwhelmed.
Completely. Imagine that same cashier now throwing 10 items a second at you.
Chaos.
You're just frantically trying to keep up. You start mixing things up, putting the milk in with the cleaning supplies. This is what Dr. Burnett calls processing chaos. All that rapid-fire input means the brain has no downtime to sort and file and consolidate information properly.
And what are the real-world symptoms of that? I mean, why do we feel so exhausted after a long gaming session?
Well, the main result is just deep mental exhaustion. You might have spent 8 hours sitting relatively still.
Right, very little physical movement.
But you feel completely wiped out. Your nervous system is just fried because your brain has been processing at this unnatural, unsustainable rate.
So what's sleep in this model?
Sleep becomes the brain's desperate attempt to run a massive defrag program. It's trying to fix all the internal disorder, clean up that chaotic filing system, and that is an exhausting process.
That perfectly connects the mental toll to the physical. So let's shift gears. Let's talk about the physical side. If the screen isn't hurting our eyes, why do parents still worry so much about physical health?
Because the devices encourage the third major hazard, prolonged stillness.
A sedentary lifestyle.
Exactly. The human body is engineered for movement. Historically, stillness was just for short rests. Now, for many people, long periods of sitting and slouching have become the default.
But is the danger really that severe? I mean, sitting is just sitting, isn't it?
Unfortunately, the data suggests it's much more than that. The material points out that some studies now list stillness as one of the top 10 indirect causes of death.
Wow, okay.
This goes way beyond just gaining weight. Prolonged inactivity slows your metabolism, it impairs cardiovascular function, and it can lead to muscle atrophy over the long term.
And this is especially damaging for adolescents, right? The 11 to 18 age group.
Absolutely vital. Adolescence is when the body needs that dynamic input running, jumping, moving. It needs that to focus its resources on muscle growth, on building a strong physical foundation.
So if you're just sitting still all the time.
If that movement is constantly suppressed by hours of stillness, the body basically deprioritizes physical development. If stillness becomes the norm during that critical window, the long-term implications are substantial.
So the parental worries about health aren't baseless, they're just misplaced.
Exactly. The phone isn't radiating harm, it's just enabling the choice to sit still. The worry is valid, but the target is wrong.
Okay, let's go a layer deeper now. Let's talk about the psychological reason behind the whole conflict. Why do adults, even adults who love their own tech, often have this reflexive no reaction to the new thing their kids are using?
This is where Dr. Burnett brings in the concept of mental models, or cognitive models.
Okay, what are those?
They're basically the hardwired, unconscious patterns the brain develops to navigate life efficiently. It's how you know how to drive a car without thinking about every little step.
Or the fastest route home.
Exactly. It's the brain's automation system.
And these models get built through experience, I'm guessing.
Precisely. And that's where the age divide comes from. Dr. Burnett notes that an adult's mental model is built on decades of experience.
So it's rigid, it's set.
Deeply entrenched. So when the younger generation introduces a fundamentally new way of doing things, socializing, learning, it doesn't just feel like a small change.
It feels like a threat.
It feels like a direct challenge to the established, efficient wisdom that's locked into that adult brain.
That makes the resistance feel less personal and more like a hardwired defense mechanism.
It's entirely neurological, and this resistance is not new. I mean, we have been fighting new technology forever.
What are some examples?
Well, the source cites Socrates, 2,500 years ago, fearing that writing would destroy memory.
Writing?
Yes. He argued people would rely on external signs instead of their own internal training.
Imagine being afraid of a pencil because it'll make you forget things.
Or what about the printing press? A scholar named Conrad Gessner worried that mass-produced books would lead to information overload and injure the brain.
It's the same fear, just a different device.
Every single time. The source even mentioned one that shocked me, the resistance to schools.
Schools? You're kidding.
Nope. In 1883, a medical article seriously warned that going to school would destroy children's bodies and nervous systems because of all the prolonged sitting.
That is unbelievable. So the fear that technology will destroy the young is just recycled.
It is. It just adapts to whatever the newest thing is.
It's the same tune, just played on a different instrument. And this pattern perfectly validates that famous observation from the comedian Douglas Adams.
Oh, it's brilliant. Adams suggested that anything that exists when you're born is just normal.
Right.
Anything invented between the ages of 15 and 35 feels exciting and revolutionary. But anything that emerges after you turn 35 is automatically contrary to the natural order of things.
And is immediately rejected.
So adults aren't anti-tech. They're just victims of their own beautifully efficient but very stubborn cognitive models.
Okay, so if adults are just experiencing this natural cognitive friction, we have to talk about the contradiction. Parents telling their kids to put the phone down while they're scrolling endlessly themselves.
Dr. Burnett goes right at this. He suggests that parents tend to focus only on the dark side of new tech, the half story, because their primary motivation is protection, and their child's mental model is still forming. It's not really set until about age 25. So they see their own usage as a controlled risk, but they see the devices as an existential threat to their kids' vulnerable minds.
That's a sympathetic way to look at it, even if it is hypocritical. So how do we bridge this gap? What are the practical solutions?
Well, the number one solution isn't about talking more. It's about parental modeling.
Leading by example.
Exactly. Children are hardwired to imitate behavior far more than they follow verbal commands. So if a parent restricts phone use, they have to visibly, consistently limit their own screen time.
So shouting, "Get off your phone," while you're checking your own notifications under the table is not going to work.
It's completely counterproductive. And beyond that, he advises parents to stop simply prohibiting the device. Prohibition is lazy.
So what's the alternative?
The goal should be flexibility and offering engaging, real-world alternatives that naturally reduce screen time. Don't just take the device and leave a void. Fill that time with sports, clubs, hobbies.
And what about understanding the content itself?
Yes. Make an effort to share the experience. Sit down and play the game with your child. Look at the app together.
So you understand the appeal.
You understand the appeal, you can better judge the risks and benefits, and you build a connection instead of just imposing a rule. You shift from banning the screen to managing the content.
This whole deep dive gives us such a clear, scientifically grounded way to look at this tension. So parental worry isn't just arbitrary.
Not at all.
It comes from a real concern over content-driven stress, cognitive overload, and physical inactivity. And all of that is amplified by this natural, hardwired human resistance to change.
Exactly. And Dr. Burnett, as he closes, he leaves the younger generation with this really powerful final thought, a challenge, really. He warns you that right now, you are building your own rigid mental model. So when your future children inevitably adopt some radical new technology.
Something we can't even imagine.
Right. Direct brain chips, immersive sensory inputs, who knows? The question is, will you be the flexible parent who adapts and helps manage the risks? Or will you fight the change, just like your parents fought your phone?
It's a challenge to maintain mental flexibility today, in anticipation of tomorrow's innovation. Thank you for joining us for this deep dive into Dr. Jean Burnett's illuminating work. We will meet again in another episode with another book.